Hey y'all! And welcome to the Sorry Not Sorry Generation podcast, where we bring you a not-so-healthy dose of humor and reality as we get our hands dirty with some serious nostalgia and question everything.
Let's dive in.
Hey y'all!
Hey y'all!
It's Misty.
It's Ani.
And who knows? Who are we? Where are we? What universe are we from?
Which dimension, which timeline are we from?
Yes, Ani and I are going to find out whether or not we're from the same reality. So, today we are focusing on Mandela Effects. And as we go through this, you guys can decide, which version you guys think is true, because we're going to talk about something and see the two different versions of it and kind of discuss which version seems real to us. And you guys can find out whether or not Ani and I are from the same reality, but you can also decide whether or not you're from the same reality we are. So
now, for those who don't know what the Mandela Effect is, in the 80s, there were people that believe that Mandela died in prison in the 80s.
Yeah, his name is Nelson Mandela. He was a foreign leader, and people thought he died when he was in prison.
He didn't die until 2013, and there are thousands of people who are like, no, he died in prison. Mm-hmm. Now, what we're going to talk about relates to this, because there are things that you've probably seen. For example, the Fruit of the Loom.
That's a really popular one.
Yeah.
People remember the logo having the cornucopia on it. However, even Fruit of the Loom's, the company, came out and said they've never had a cornucopia as a part
I call
of the logo,
bullshit, because I remember a cornucopia.
I've seen the shirts. I know somebody who worked for the Fruit of the Loom's, like a factory of them, and she's like, no, it had a cornucopia. But even the company here is saying, no, we never had one. And so people have been taking this idea of the Mandela Effect and taking what has become very popular, and it's a bit of a recent theory, but it's actually a scientific theory, not just stuff people made up for Marvel, of the multiverse. And that there are different realities, and that maybe our planet is kind of starting to slip through them, or it's been slipping through them for a while. And not everyone continuously goes from one reality to the next with everyone else. So maybe a bunch of us are from the same reality, but maybe there's a bunch of us here that aren't.
And a lot of us are just now blending, the realities are blending, and everyone's
starting to blend together. And there's been some discrepancies, and these Mandela effects are some of those discrepancies that people have noticed. Now, granted, neither Ani and I are physicists or anything like that. I cannot tell you details of string theory or the stuff like that, but I love the multiverse theory and all that. But there's that's the idea, is that there are different realities that we're all from, not all of us, but there's some of us that are from the same reality and some other people who are from different realities, and that you can only tell because the realities are so similar. There's only slight, minute differences. For people who read comic books like DC, this is going to make a lot of sense because there's so many different universes in the DC comics of Batman and Superman and stuff like that. This will make a lot of sense to you. For people who don't read those kinds of things,
think of it in Marvel with Deadpool.
Well, think of it like watching, if you've watched Supernatural. There was an episode where they were in our universe, where it's supernatural to the characters. They were suddenly on the Supernatural set. And then there was another one where they were in the Scooby-Doo world. Yeah. So that's a switching between realities situation. For them, in those episodes, that was a huge difference. But for us here, the idea is that the differences are so minute because there is supposed to be an infinite number of realities. And that the idea of how these realities are created is that every decision you make creates a new reality, and that's what the difference between them is. Say you went to work today, and instead of turning right, you decided to turn left on one of your streets. You've now created two different realities. In one of those, you went right, another one you went left. You could spend your whole life trying to figure out the difference between this universe and that universe and never figure it out, because the only difference is at one point you turned left instead of right. But that's happening for literally every single person on the planet, which is going to create an infinite number of universes, especially if you think it's been happening since the beginning of human history. So that's the idea behind the Mandela effect. And I know that sounds a little complicated, but we are going to have some fun with this. And Ani and I are both going to figure out, like, we're going to be presenting things that are supposed to be true, which means they're true for this reality. And then Ani and I will check to see whether or not they're true for us. And Ani and I will compare to see whether or not they're all true for us, like as the same. And if they're not, Ani and I might be from different realities. So,
can you imagine there are infinite versions of me out there?
There's a universe out there where you're made entirely of cotton candy. So we are going to go over some of them. So let's get started. Our first thing up here is peanut butter. Is it Jiffy peanut butter or is it Jif peanut butter? For anybody who doesn't know, it's the peanut butter jar, has the red top, and it's got the red, blue, and green logo on it. I swear it's Jiffy peanut butter.
Like, I know it's Jif because I see it so much now, but I could have sworn it was Jiffy.
Like, we have Jif in our house, so that's this reality.
But growing up, I swear it was Jiffy.
It was Jiffy. So Ani and I are the same, but we're not of this reality for that one, the first
so
one.
far.
Ani and I are the same, but we do not agree with the reality. Okay. So for us, definitely was Jiffy. I don't know where the fuck Jif comes from because I've never ever said to somebody, yeah, I want some Jif peanut butter. Like, no, it's Jiffy peanut butter. I need Jiffy peanut butter sandwich. Like, no, because people say, oh, well, you're confusing it with its competitor, Skippy. No, I'm not.
I know the difference between the two damn freaking like labels, all right?
And I think Skippy peanut butter is better. I do know the difference between the two. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, the Looney Tunes.
Is it Looney Tunes as in Tunes, or is it Looney Tunes, Toons? I have never lived in a universe where it's Looney Tunes like music.
It's gotta be the tunes, like cartoon.
Yeah, it's like
they're Looney cartoons.
Because they're Looney cartoons. It's never been Looney Tunes like it's Looney music. That makes no fucking sense. It is never.
You're telling me it's Tunes, like music?
Yeah. It says in this universe, it is Looney Tunes, Tunes, like Looney music, instead of Looney Tunes, like Looney cartoons. It sounds like absolute bullshit. Like,
I get it. Like, they have wacky music, but the whole show is for the fucking weird-ass animals.
Yeah, it's about crazy cartoons, not crazy music. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
I refuse to accept the music tunes.
Bernstein Bears versus Bernstein Bears. I will fucking fight people on this. It is Bernstein Bears. I don't know where the Bernstein came from, but it's
the Bernstein and the Berenstain Bears. Ugh. See, I can't give a legit answer on this one because I recognize the bears. Did I ever pay attention to how they were spelled as a child? No. So I don't know. While I have come across these books in the library, I know they're spelled Berenstain.
Yeah.
And I wish I had copies of when I was a kid.
It's Berenstain. It's 100% Berenstain. Like we had these books when I was little. It's Berenstain, and there's no A. There's no A in their names. It's fuck that. Fight me. I don't know whose idea that was, but it's Berenstain Bears.
We're gonna get one more opinion. Hey, Mom, come here. One more opinion. Let's see. Asonku Ishaskur was the game.
Ayo.
Okay, each best Karvazir. Asank, Gama Asank.
Bernstein.
The Berenstain Bears or the Berenstain Bears? Which was
Bernstein Bears?
Asank?
Yeah.
Berenstain. Yeah.
Berenstain.
Even Mom's like, no, it's the Berenstain Bears.
Yep. My mom's the same way. She absolutely agrees. It's Berenstain Bears. I don't know where the stain nonsense came from, but it is a stain on my reality.
It's true.
So since your mom voted, we're going to say that makes it the same universe as you and I. So far, of these three, you and I are the same universe, but we are not of this universe.
No. And why? My mom's vote counts as for the right universe, because even my mom remembers the movie, what was it, Shazam?
Yeah.
Because there's Kazam with
Mhm.
Shaq, and then there's Shazam with Sinbad. And I swear to God, she's like, no, there is a movie like that.
100%. 100%. That's on this list, so we'll get to that one. Curious George. Does he have a tail?
Yes.
He's a monkey. Of course he has a tail. However, if you go and you watch the cartoon today, he does not have a tail. He's a monkey. He has a tail. Why would he not have a tail? He's a monkey.
Is he supposed to be a chimp?
Yeah,
I get it.
But he is a monkey. He has a tail. Now, here's a question for you, because I've also heard that they don't think that the guy that Curious George is with has a name. The guy with the yellow hat. I've heard that people don't think he has a name. I think his name is John.
Yeah, he has a name.
Like that is my thought, is that he has a name, but I have heard on the internet that people say he doesn't have a name. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know if it's true.
His name is Ted.
Ted. I think his name is John. Fuck Ted. I don't know what Ted is. Ted. There's no Ted. There's no Ted in this universe. But Curious George should have a tail. In this universe, they say Curious George does not have a tail.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. It's super bullshit. Okay. The TV show Sex Lank the City with like Carrie Bradshaw and all that. Question for you guys before we say anything. What is the name of that city with the 4 women? They lived in New York, had Carrie Bradshaw in it, and like those other 3 women whose names I do not know. What is the name of that show? Is it Sex in the City? Because I think it's Sex in the City. If you think it's Sex in the City, you're wrong, because it's Sex and the City, according to this reality. And that's insane. I don't remember that at all. It's Sex in the City.
So the correct one is Sex and the City.
Sex and the City, yeah, the one on the right.
Okay.
I distinctly remember Sex in the City because I fucking hate that show. I think it's the stupidest thing on the planet, and I distinctly remember it coming on all the time and just complaining that Sex in the City was on.
I always thought people were saying Sex in the City.
Yeah, it's Sex in the City. It should be Sex in the City. It's not Sex and the City. Like, that's enough of a sound difference to be notable. Sex and the City, rather than Sex in the City. Because it's Sex in the City because they're in the fucking city and they're having a lot of sex.
They're all having sex.
Yeah. It's not sex and then there's also a city. Like, no.
That is... Wow. I didn't know that was on the list.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Do you remember Sex in the City or Sex and
I remember Sex in the City.
Yep, me too.
Well, so far we're the same universe.
So far. Febreze. Do you remember it spelled Febreze or Febreze? Is it Febreze?
2 E's. It's 2 E's.
Yeah. So, because it should be 2 E's because it's like a breeze, like coming through your window. That's what the logo is about. It's something going, like wind coming through your window. Febreze, like a breeze.
It's like a fabric breeze.
It's not correct. It's Febreze with 1 E. And that's just not true. It's just absolutely not true. It is 2 E's. It is 100% 2 E's because it's spelled breeze like the fucking wind coming through your window. That's why it's called Febreze. It's fabric, like refresher and all that stuff. So it's Febreze because it's fabric and breeze.
I don't like that.
No, me neither. So same universe on that one, but we are not of this. We are not of this reality so far for any of the ones we have done. We have done 6 of these, and Audie and I are not of this universe. That explains a lot about us so far.
We're not of this timeline, no.
All right, Oscar Mayer or Oscar Mayer, like hot dogs. Is it Oscar Mayer or is it Oscar Mayer?
Oscar Mayer.
It's Oscar Mayer wieners. Like, yes. It's Oscar, and the Mayer part is spelled Meyer. Or, if you're in this universe, Mayer. Is it Oscar Mayer or Meyer? And it's definitely Meyer.
It's an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Yeah, like, there's no A in my... Oscar Mayer wieners. So, yeah, that's just no. It's
This-
not Oscar Mayer.
Now I want to know what fucking reality I'm from.
It's not this one. I can tell you
Not
that.
this one.
Because, like, absolutely not.
When do we merge into this reality? What went
I
wrong?
like-
Sorry, a lot of stuff went wrong in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why we ended up in a different timeline.
Using a little bit of, like, I haven't seen the third Deadpool, but I'm aware that there's a theory in the third Deadpool that every reality has, like, an anchor creature.
An anchor being, yes.
Yeah. And that if that anchor being dies, then, like, the whole reality gets fucked up.
The reality will start to die, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people theorize that our reality's anchor creatures was the ape, Hammurabi. Is that how you say it? Is that he was our anchor creature because everything's gone to shit after he died.
That's fair.
Is that how you say his name?
Harambe.
Harambe. Sorry.
Harambe.
There's too many A's in my version. Harambe. But yeah, Harambe was our reality's anchor creature. And that when he died, our universe got fucked. I do however, in this article that I'm pulling all of these from, and we have the Oscar Mayer and Oscar Mayer wieners and all that, there's just a little ad to click on of how to clone your dog. Just, okay.
I wonder if Harambe was it, or if, well, no, I was going to say, like, because I was thinking of an anchor event, like, September 11 could have fucked a lot of shit up for the timelines.
True. Things seem to have gotten really weird recently, though, so it might be in, Harambe, I think, was in 2018, so.
Yeah. Whatever is happening now is just, I want out of this reality, alright?
Yeah, no, this fucking
timeline
sucks.
It's gotta go. We gotta, what's the word they use in Deadpool 3? I'm sorry, in Loki, when they cut out the different timelines. Purge? Or something?
Maybe.
Yeah, we gotta just call these things. Like, this reality needs to go.
This is a terrible reality. Okay. This one is going to be very interesting. Skechers. Does the word Skechers have a T in it? If you think it has a T in it, then you are not from this reality, because according to these guys, there is no T in Skechers. I think that it's spelled Sketchers. This reality says that it's spelled Skechers.
I have a question for you before I answer.
Sure.
On your childhood, on, like, specific things.
Mm.
Can you remember them clearly, or are they fuzzy?
I think it kind of depends on...
Because, like, I'm thinking of the Skechers one right now, and, like, while I know that now it's spelled without the T, like, I'm trying to think back and be like, because I had a Skechers growing up, I'm, like, trying to, like, picture the boxes they came in. And all I can think of is the new spelling.
I didn't really wear Skechers as a kid, so this one's a little ambiguous for me. I'm pretty sure I recall seeing, like, the logo and it had a T in it, but I can't think of any specific examples of it.
I'm going to go with the T.
As I look at them, the T seems correct to me.
It also sounds correct, so I'm going to go with the T. Skechers.
Yeah. Rather than Skechers. So
I don't...
especially as if you look at it, like, out of the font. Like, if you look at the 9 and you look below it, that spelling looks wrong. The
yeah,
spelling
it does.
Below the 9, like, it looks like it should have a T in it. Like, it looks weird. Like, if you just write it and see it out of the font, it looks a lot funkier without the T in it. So I'm going to say I remember the T, and we are not within this reality because it's just fucking weird. Fruit Loops. Now, this one is specifically on the box. So on the box, do you recall seeing it where it said the word fruit in actual spelling, and then below it said loops, and then the 2 O's in loop were the actual cereal? Or do you remember it with the word fruit is spelled Fruot, and the 2 O's in fruit are the cereal, and then loops is the same way where it's Loops, and then the O's in that one are also fruit. So basically, Fruit in this reality and Loops both have 2 O's, and they're both cereal.
No, I remember the actual spelling of the fruit.
Yeah, or do you,
because
like,
Fruit Loops used to taste like actual fruits.
Yeah.
Well, not actual, but they had every color had a different taste. Just the tricks, they all had different flavors.
And like the alternate reality one, and the one that's not supposed to be real, is where the box actually says the word fruit spelled out, and then only the O's in Loops was cereal. They say in this reality that fruit is spelled F-R-O-O-T, and it has like the cereal in it, which seems even looking at the box, it looks weird to me.
It's Fruit Loops.
Why would I call it Fruit Loops? Like, it's not Fruit Loops. It's Fruit Loops because it's about fruit. He's a toucan in the jungle with all of the jungle fruit. Like, why would it be a Frot Loops? Like, no, it's not Frot Loops.
And also every loop was a different fruit flavor.
Just like, I don't know, that one was really weird to me, and I was looking at it and I'm like, the box doesn't even look real. Like, but according to them, if you are from this reality, your box
you
of
eat
Fruit
Frot Loops.
Yeah, you eat Frot Loops. Sorry. Now, this one was a little strange to me, as I'm not particularly aware of it. How I've seen it online, but like, this was not something I was really aware of. But it's a portrait of King Henry VIII holding a turkey leg, or a different portrait of King Henry VIII holding a croissant, by the looks of it. And both of them look like real paintings to me. And I'm also aware, as in I've heard of King Henry VIII and a portrait of him holding a turkey leg. I've never, ever heard of one of any royal holding a fucking croissant. That's weird. I will say the portrait on the left, which is supposed to be the fake one,
holding the turkey leg,
doesn't look as real as the one on the right where he
holding
is
holding a croissant.
But the croissant to me looks really strange in this picture. Like, it doesn't look the same to me. Like, it stands out in a strange way. Like, if it had been the exact same photo on both sides, and one he's holding a turkey leg and the other one he's holding a croissant, I would have, maybe I would have been more inclined to believe it. But the croissant looks strange to me. The whole portrait of him with the turkey leg that I'm looking at right now looks terribly photoshopped. But I don't recall this enough to be able to define whether or not I feel confident one way or the other. I feel like I've heard of King Henry VIII holding a turkey leg. I just don't know.
I don't recall any of this, but I've asked our local artist here, and she remembers the right one with the croissant.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of the turkey leg thing, but I don't remember either of these paintings.
Me either.
I don't think I've seen either of these paintings before, so I don't think I could really define it one way or the other. So I'm just going to say I don't know for this one.
I don't know either, so
I'm just going to rule this one. We're just going to rule this one out. This one's a little ambiguous.
Yeah, Jessica says the right one with the croissant, not the turkey leg. So I'm like, okay. I'm also asking Erin, see what she says.
Okay. At the very least, Jessica might be from this reality. So, The Monopoly Man.
The Monopoly Man has a fucking monocle.
It's like, the question is, did he have a monocle or did he not have a monocle? If you're from this reality, you would think that the Monopoly Man does not have a monocle. However, Ani and I both distinctly recall the Monopoly Man running around with a monocle, especially when you look at him in like the image of him holding like the bag of money as he's running like past Go or something like that.
Also, if you've seen Ace Ventura, I think it's the first one. Yes, the first one, when he goes to that rich party, right? Because he thinks the owner of the house who has a shark is the person that, kidnapped the dolphin, actually. he fucking knocks out this old man wearing a monocle, and he fucking grabs the monocle. He literally puts the monocle on and grabs the old man and says, "Do not pass go. Do not collect $200." Like, that is what I remember.
So in our reality, and whatever reality Ace Ventura originates from, the Monopoly Man had a monocle. However, if you are from this reality, he does not have a monocle, and apparently people are saying that people are confusing the Monopoly Man with Mr. Peanut, which, why would I confuse a game cartoon man with a peanut?
Like, I know Mr. Peanut has a monocle.
Yes.
There was a specific Mr. Peanut snack that I went crazy for when I was a kid, and they discontinued it. And like, anytime I talk to someone about it, they're just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "This shit was so good."
I don't think I ate like a lot of peanuts and stuff growing up.
It wasn't an actual peanut. It was peanut shaped, about this big each. Yeah. And it was stuffed with either peanut butter or like Nutella, like chocolate or something. It
was a cookie. It was a stuffed cookie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You remember that?
Yes, I do. I do remember that. Yes.
I fucking love those.
Yes, I do. I do remember that. So, more evidence that we might be from the same universe. So, this one infuriates the fuck out of me.
Pikachu he had a black part in his tail. I could have sworn he had a black part in his tail.
Now, here's where it gets funky. The images here show on the left, and the one that's supposed to be fake, is Pikachu with a black part in his tail. Then the other one, the one that's supposed to be from this reality, is Pikachu. His tail is blank on top, but it has a little bit of brown on the bottom. Here's where it gets strange. I remember both, but I remember them out of order. I remember when I was little, Pikachu
had a black tail.
No.
Oh.
With the brown in his tail. I remember that when I was little. The black in his tail, I remember way more recently, because I remember seeing it recently in like the last few years and thinking, that's weird. Why does he have black on his tail?
It switched for me. Like, I always thought he had black on his tail, and then lately it's been just the yellow with the brown at the end part.
That's where we're different. Is I recall when I was little, it was brown on his tail, and then it was black later. And up until this moment, and when I first saw this article and it told me the black on his tail was not real, I thought that's the current version of Pikachu, is that this was like a new version of Pikachu and he had black on his tail. Because I was looking at it and I'm like, he's never had black on his tail before.
That's what I remember, is I remember him having black on his tail.
Yeah, I remember it being brown when I was little and then black later. So, and then I guess now it's brown again, which is weird to me, but that, however, is where and like, I watched a fuck ton of Pokemon when I was little.
Yes, you did.
So like, and it's weird to me too, because like the black on his tail is all like zigzaggy, and I'm just like, I would remember that it's brown. It is brown. Like, he definitely has. And two, I think Pikachu's tails change based on gender.
I know there are 2 versions of each Pokemon, but for some reason I always thought Pikachu was just a boy. Like, it's just the one Pikachu, and it's a boy.
I believe Pikachu's tail. Yeah. For girl Pikachus, the ends of their tails are hearts. So like they're kind of indented like a heart. I don't think that's currently true anymore, but it used to be true. But yeah, they're like, I think it was in like the old school video games or something like that, where the tail was a heart. But yeah, I recall both, but the black-tailed Pikachu, I recall specifically, when was that? It was post Hoenn region. It was the one like before the Alola region.
I don't even know what that region is.
Let me see. Maybe it was like Diamond and Pearl.
Oh.
It was before Sun and Moon. So it might have been, I don't know, it might be too early though. It might have been black and white. I think it might have been black and white that I recall. Or X and Y. One of those, I recall Pikachu's tail being black. And I forgot that movie was so old. Jesus. But yeah, it's one of the later ones, but not... Because, I mean, the original Pokemon series was from 97. So I know it's one of the mid-2000s to later 2000s ones. I had to guess a year. I would have assumed like 2016, 2017, which I think falls in like the X and Y black and white range.
Okay.
So that's where I thought that came from. And then now it's back to being brown. So this one infuriates the hell out of me because I distinctly recall both. And because I'm pretty sure at some point I had a toy from like McDonald's or something like that, and it had a Pikachu, and Pikachu's tail was black, and that's why I remember thinking, this must be new. Why is this tail black? That's weird. And however, my mom recalls his tail being black, and I recall both. So I don't know what's up with that, but that is a weird one for me. So that one for me is just I don't know. And Ani, do you remember his tail being black or brown? Black. Okay. So, but if you asked me what the classic version of Pikachu looked like, I would tell you it's the one with the brown. So that is our first distinct difference between you and me. Kit Kat.
Does it have a hyphen?
Does the Kit Kat candy bar have a hyphen between the words kit and cat or not? I 100% remember there being a hyphen between Kit Kat.
So do I.
It does not have one. Like, my mom has a bag of Kit Kats downstairs. There's no hyphen on it. It is just the word Kit Kat, nothing else. I distinctly recall there being a hyphen between Kit Kat, and according to reality, there is no hyphen in Kit Kat. Which is really, really, really weird. And anybody who's wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, or just like can't wrap their head around that, should Google Kit Kat hyphen versus no hyphen, and it looks strange to not have a hyphen when you see the hyphen. It's just like, I recall it having a hyphen.
So do I.
All right, now the famous Fruit of the Loom logo. Did it have a cornucopia?
Yes.
I will say the modern Fruit of the Loom does not have the cornucopia. At some point, they did get rid of it. However, it has definitely had a cornucopia behind it before.
Yes.
There was definitely a cornucopia behind it. Like,
I remember that cornucopia.
I just
that's
recall
that's
it.
a lot of brown that you just can't forget.
And why would people just mass hallucinate the cornucopia? And of all things, like a fucking cornucopia? Why? Like, that's weird. But no, they say that there was never a cornucopia behind the Fruit of the Looms logo, and I call bullshit. Distinct bullshit. Because it's not like people remember like different shaped cornucopias or different colored No, everyone remembers the exact same fucking cornucopia. There was definitely a cornucopia. There are people on the internet who have taken pictures of the logos of their shirts that have the fucking cornucopia. But if you ask Fruit of the Loom, the company, they will tell you there was no cornucopia.
Bullshit!
Absolute, utter bullshit.
All these fucking companies are gaslighting the masses.
Honestly, and the question is, why? Okay, Cheez-Its. Does it have a Z after the word it? Yes. Is it Cheez-It or Cheez-Its?
It's Cheez-Its.
Yeah, so is it CHEEZ hyphen ITZ, so it's Cheez-Its, or is it Cheez-It, where it's CHEEZ hyphen IT? I don't know when the fuck they dropped the the Z at the end of it, but it's Cheez-Its.
Yeah,
there's
do you
more
want
than
Cheez-Its?
One. Yeah, do you want any Cheez-Its? Like, I have Cheez-Its. It's nobody in their life has ever said, I have a Cheez-It, or I have Cheez-It.
I want a Cheez-It.
Nobody says, I have Cheez-It. No, it's I have Cheez-Its, because there's more than one fucking Cheez-It in the box. Nobody ever on the planet has ever said Cheez-It without the Z. No, it's Cheez-Its. It's Cheez-Its. There's a Z. There's a Z in Cheez-Its. It's so stupid. And, like, if you look at Google, like, the Cheez-Its boxes, if you see it without the Z, it looks so stupid.
It does look stupid without the Z.
Looks about as stupid as a Fruit Loops box spelled with 2
Frot
O's.
Loops.
Frot Loops. Looks pretty fucking stupid. Okay. Double stuffed Oreos. Is it double stuff and the stuff is spelled S-T-U-F-F? Because that's what makes sense and that's how spelling works. Or is it double stuff S-T-U-F with only one F?
2 F's. Because it's double
stuff. And it's just like, because it's double the stuff. But according to this reality, it's double stuff with one F, which isn't even a fucking word. And I don't know why they would drop a second F, because it just doesn't make any sense. But according to this reality, it's double stuff, S-T-U-F. However, Ani and I call it bullshit. It
just makes sense. If it's double stuffed Oreos, it's double the stuff, which means the stuff would have 2 F's.
Because it's an actual word, unlike S-T-U-F, which isn't even a fucking word. Stoof. Double stoof.
It's
Those are double stoof Oreos? The fuck? So stupid. Okay, this one is a little strange because the more I look at it, I just don't really think there's much of a difference. People are saying that Mona Lisa's smile used to be a lot more obvious than it is now. First of all,
is it me or I don't see a difference here?
The only difference I see really is like the shading. Like the portrait on the right for this article is darker than the portrait on the left, and I stared at this for a while the other day, and I'm like, they look exactly the same.
Like I can kind of see the slight increase of the lips in the left one, but it's like you could show me either one, I'd be like, that's the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. If anything, I would tell you is just like, was her smile always this prominent? Though, like this seems like it almost might be too prominent. Because I remember looking at the Mona Lisa and just thinking to myself, she's supposed to be smiling.
You know, like it took me forever to realize that she doesn't have eyebrows.
It's true. And there is the thought, too, is there's more than one version of the Mona Lisa. Because Da Vinci's, like, apprentice painted the same painting. So it is also possible that these are just Da Vinci's painting and then his apprentice's painting. Because his apprentice's painting is in a lot better condition as well. And had more background, like, detail than Da Vinci's painting did because it was not as faded. So you could see more. So you could also just take this, like, you know, it could just be that the difference between the two actual very real paintings. So this one I'm willing to just be like,
I don't pay attention to art that much, so
yeah, not enough that I could differentiate like Mona Lisa's smile. And really, one of the reasons I bring up Da Vinci's Apprentice is there's a very noticeable difference in the one on the right because it is much darker.
It's darker,
so you can see more, which is why I bring up his Apprentice, because his Apprentice's version is much nicer. So because it just hasn't been sitting in a museum for like a couple 100 years. So
it's fair.
Now, this next one is the one where I have no idea. I've never heard of this before, but I'm very curious as to what you think. But according to this reality, C-3PO has a silver leg, which we just watched Star Wars. No, he fucking doesn't. C-3PO does not have a silver leg. I have never, ever, ever, ever heard that C-3PO has a silver leg.
I'm pretty sure he's all gold.
I've always just thought he's solid gold. We just watched Star Wars not that long ago.
I know.
He's solid gold.
Well, apparently we're wrong because our Star Wars enthusiast says he has a silver leg.
Who is that? Is that Jessica? She's from a different universe.
Jessica does not like Star Wars. No, it's Aaron.
Oh my god. I'm just gonna
wait.
Screen images of C-3PO.
Is it if it's from episodes 1, 2, and 3, then okay, fine, because I barely remember.
Oh, it does say in episodes 3 through 6 he has a silver leg. In episode 7, his legs are solid gold, but he has a different colored arm. And in episodes 1 and 2, he's different colors entirely. He's definitely fucking solid gold. Oh, look, there's the guy. I picture the guy. Is Anthony Daniels the guy who played C3PO?
Sounds familiar.
Because I'm looking at a picture of the guy in the suit, and both of his legs
Then
are
yes.
gold. And both of his legs are gold in this photo. But then again, he's got the red arm, and that's supposed to be episode 7.
Yes, it's Anthony Daniels.
Okay, but there's this photo, and it just... He doesn't have a silver leg. Why would he have a silver leg? I've never seen him with a fucking silver leg.
I know he has a red arm at one point. I don't remember the silver leg.
Look, there's a picture of C3PO in the original costume in the Smithsonian. He has 2 gold arms and 2 fucking gold legs. The Smithsonian version of C3PO is fucking gold from start to finish. I have never, ever, before I came across this article, heard of C3PO having a silver anything.
I remember the red arm, but I don't remember the silver leg.
And according to this, in episodes 3 through 6, he had a fucking silver leg. And I'm just like, no, he didn't. I don't know that much about Star Wars, but even I fucking know he was solid gold. That's weird.
You know what? It's okay. I'm looking at a picture and an article about where Anthony Daniels himself said that he's always had a silver leg. I'm looking at the picture from the set.
Uh-huh.
It is the way the silver and the gold look almost the same, that you would just look over it, is why we all think it's gold.
It is, and he's a lot of times in the desert, and it's reflecting gold, brown back and stuff like that. So I can see that, but in the spaceship and all that stuff, and he's standing there waiting for talking to Leia and all that. He's gold. He's a gold. It's a very subtle color difference between the silver and the gold, but he's fucking gold. I'm
going with gold.
Gold. Aaron says the bottom of that leg is silver. Is gold. It's gold. I don't
see silver.
I don't gold. Either. It looks gold. I'm sorry. I don't live in the universe where C3PO has a silver fucking leg, and I don't want to. It's gold. Fuck that.
It looks fucking gold.
It's so gold. It looks fucking gold. It looks gold.
Okay.
It just looks fucking gold to me. I'm just
I know Anakin made him out of spare parts, so it makes sense that he'd be different colors and not all gold, but
But he's always just been fucking gold. And why would you choose to make him a different color in the subtlest fucking way possible?
It could have been galvanized steel in that case and be alright, I can see the difference.
And why would you just do the one leg? Why would you not make him look more mishmashed? Overall? Why would you do all of him gold? He looks like a complete robot.
I don't know.
I don't like this one.
I don't like this one.
I don't even know a lot about fucking Star Wars, but I know he's gold. Alright. The Flintstones. Is it the Flintstones or the Flintstones? As in Flinstones. So is it Flynn, Flin, and then Stones? Or is it Flint Stones? Flintstones.
It's the Flintstones.
It's the Flintstones. I think it's the Flintstones with that extra T because Flint.
Yeah, I know.
Stones. Making stone tools and stuff like that. It would be Flintstones. Because making a flint knife and you make stone tools using flint stuff, and I think it's Flint with the T, Flint, and then the word stones.
It's the Flintstones. I remember getting my Flintstones, vitamins every morning that were disgusting. It's the Flintstones.
So you think it has one T and not 2?
Yeah.
Might be from different universes, Ani.
Well, we made it this far, and we're
all right. Slight difference in this one. All right. Chartreuse. What color is chartreuse? Is it pink or is it green?
I
I think it's pink. Like chartreuse is a stupid shade of pink for like prom dresses and stuff like that.
I think
there's-
prom dress when I think of a color called chartreuse. I think pink too.
Yeah. So apparently there's a bunch of people who think chartreuse
It's
is green, and that would be the fake one. And then the one for this reality, chartreuse is a shade of pink. So Ani and I actually fully agree with the universe on this one, or with our reality on this one, in that it is in fact a shade of pink. Should ask.
Yeah, because according to this reality, it's green.
So if you're from this reality, you might think chartreuse is a shade of green. I'm going to ask Aaron. Fucking hell. Aaron was not from the same universe we are. Aaron is from a different universe. I'm so sorry, Aaron, but you are from a fucking different universe than we are. It's pink. It's absolutely pink. Forrest Gump. What is the famous line that Forrest said about a box of chocolates? Life blank a box of chocolates. What is the famous line?
Life is like a box of chocolates?
Yeah. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get. The actual line is that life was like a box of chocolates. He's talking about
I recently saw Forrest Gump for the first time. All right? Because Rupen he wasn't gonna let me in the house after that if I hadn't seen it, because it's his favorite movie. He's sitting there, he's telling the story, and he's like, Mama always said life is like a box of chocolates.
Exactly. But according to this reality, its life was like a box of chocolates. But that sentence no longer makes sense to me. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get.
You know what you're going to get now?
That is a past tense and a future tense all at once. Rather than saying life is like a box of chocolates, you never know which one you're going to get. That's a sentence that makes sense. Adding was instead of is doesn't make any sense to me. So, fuck this reality. It's
nope.
Is like a box of chocolates.
Is grammatically it is.
Okay, this is one I've seen on the internet before. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When the Wicked Queen is looking at the mirror, the magic mirror on the wall, what do you remember her saying to the mirror? Is it mirror, mirror on the wall? Or is it magic mirror on the wall?
I thought she said mirror, mirror on the wall. But I know it's magic mirror on the wall.
Definitely remember listening to her say mirror, mirror on the wall.
That's what I grew up saying, going mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
Yep. It's definitely mirror, mirror on the wall, not magic mirror on the wall. Because you can't tell me an entire generation of kids grew up saying mirror, mirror on the wall. And then we're all fucking wrong? No. It's just weird to me that it's supposed to be magic mirror on the wall.
I see Daddy Vader.
Yes. What is his famous line to Luke about being his dad?
I am your father.
So, it says here that I am your father. However, I guess
Luke, I am your father.
What is it? What are they trying to say? Honestly, this was one that cut deep. Perhaps the most famous movie line in history wasn't even said.
Because people think he said,
I am your father.
I am your father. When really he just said, I am your father.
I think it's Luke, I am your father. Like that was just my knowledge of it.
I've Luke, also heard people say that they thought it was, no, I am your father.
Huh. I have not seen that. I thought it was Luke, I am your father. What are you? Are you Luke, I am your father, or I am your father?
I thought it was Luke, I am your father, because that's what I heard for so long until I watched the movies.
Yeah.
When I watch it, I'm like, it's I am your father.
Yeah. So that one might just be like a... Well, like, because the line is still the same.
It's just one word.
It's just addressing, if you were to tell it to somebody, it's like, Luke, I am your father. Like, that would make sense in saying it in the way if you were telling that story to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, if you were talking about it to somebody, and it's like, well, yeah, he's like, oh, like, Luke, I am your father. Like, I can see where this one comes from. Like, I think this one's less universe shifting and more just like, that would be the natural way to say it in a conversation. Yeah. So, if you guys are like talking about the movie. Okay. Gandalf's line in The Lord of the Rings. But the memorable line that like is really hard to hear what he says, but when Gandalf is about to fall while fighting the creature in the mountain, what does he say? Does he say, "Run, you fools," or "Fly, you fools"? And
You've seen Lord of the Rings more than I have. Aaron lives by it. Yeah. I thought it was "Run, you fools," because none of them have wings to fly on.
I am aware that it is "Fly, you fools," and I thought it was, and like there's a theory on the internet that he says "Fly, you fools" because he's being like, take the fucking giant eagles and fly to Mordor. But for the longest time, I couldn't hear what he said because he says the line, it's kind of like a mumbled mush of words.
Because isn't he like about to fall off the cliff or something?
Yeah, and like it's really hard to make out the first two words. You can make out the fools at the end, but the first two words are really hard to figure out. I did turn on the closed captioning once just to see it, and it says "Fly, you fools." So this one I did know. This one, the reality and I are on the same page with. It is "Fly, you fools," not "Run, you fools." Run would make more sense, and that's probably why people think it's "Run," but it is "Fly, you fools."
Hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice. It says, we don't know what's scarier, the fact that we all remember Hannibal Lecter saying, "Hello, Clarice," or the reality that all he said was "good morning."
What?
That he never said, "Hello, Clarice."
I heard you. What?
I'm with you. I've never seen this movie, but everyone knows, "Hello, Clarice." Like, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows "Hello, Clarice."
Every single person knows fucking "Hello, Clarice." Like, there's no, like that. There's no "good morning." Like, no, that's not fucking creepy. It's "Hello, Clarice." Like, no, that's weird. That's really weird.
I refuse to accept that.
This one is for the Freddie Mercury song, "We Are the Champions." And it says, and this one I've heard of too, it says, the Mandela Effect is what ruins this too, is that at the end of "We Are the Champions," and he's like, "We are the champions," and it ends with of the world. That's not the song.
I have heard it!
I have too. I have absolutely fucking heard it. People sing it all the time. Like, it's "We Are the Champions of the World" is the very
it's the only time he says it is at the end.
Yeah, it's the very last line is "We are the champions of the world," and it's the very last line of the song.
I'm pretty sure if you watch Mighty Ducks, the first one, because they play "We Are the Champions" at the end, I'm pretty sure you hear "of the world." Like,
I think that's the song is "We Are the Champions of the World," and like that just makes fucking sense. But according to this, it does not. Now, have you seen Mr. Rogers?
I grew up with Mr. Rogers, yes.
Okay. So the question here is, what is the line where something beautiful neighborhood? What is the line?
I don't remember.
Something beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood?
Day in the neighborhood. Yeah. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood is the song I remember, like the theme song being. Yeah. It's like, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. However, apparently it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. That doesn't even sound right. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. No. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
He's addressing kids all across the country like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, not in this neighborhood. Because, like, why would you just try and, like, single out just this neighborhood when it's a song that should sound like it's a beautiful day in, like, the neighborhood, like, in general, where all of these little kids live that are watching the show. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, not in this neighborhood. And
I don't remember this. I remember the.
Yeah, I remember the. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So this reality can go fuck itself because it's definitely not this neighborhood. It's not a beautiful day in this reality.
No.
Okay. I'm really curious what you have to say about this one. Growing up, how many states did you learn that there were?
51?
51? 52? So the correct answer is 50. However, I grew up learning that there were 51 states.
Same.
I absolutely grew up remembering that there are 51 states, and I'm really tempted to count on this map, but I'm not going to. But according to this reality, there are 50 states. Now, I don't remember a different state that no longer exists or something like that, but I do very distinctly remember in school my teachers telling me that there were 51 states.
Same.
Like,
Also, like, I'm also thinking if there is an even amount of states, then the stars on the flag would be uniform, and they're not. They're off kilter because it's an odd number. What? Right?
That was always my assumption, yeah, is that they weren't in line. The stars on the flag were not in line because there was an odd number of states. There's 51. I can't tell you what this mysterious 51st state is, but I distinctly remember there being taught that there were 51 states. Like, I'm aware as an adult that there are only 50 states, but I very distinctly recall learning as a kid that there were 51 states. Like, I know now as an adult there's 50 states, but I do recall being taught that there were 51 states.
Like, did we count Puerto Rico and Guam? They're not states, they're territories, but
yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't Alaska the 51st state?
That was my thought, is that I thought Alaska was the 51st fucking state. And that's what we were taught as kids, is that there were 51 states and Alaska was the 51st state. But it's not true. It was number 50. So,
okay, no. So Alaska's the 49th and Hawaii is the 50th.
Okay.
Now the question, no, it's not a state though, it'd be a city. I'm like, because would the capital be considered its own thing? Because it's right in
if
between
we're counting
Virginia
the capital
and
Puerto Rico and Guam, we're at 53, so...
No, forget Puerto Rico and Guam. I know those are territories, but the capital, it's not a state, because I know it's, it's right in between the border of Maryland and Virginia, but it's its own entity. That I know. So is that what we were told growing up? That's considered its own state?
I don't know. I also know that there's been a lot of, there was, at least at one point, a lot of talk about Puerto Rico becoming a state and then choosing not to. So I don't know if maybe when we were younger, there was a lot of talk about it becoming a state. So they were teaching people that it was going to become a state. So I don't really know. But I distinctly recall, I distinctly recall growing up that we were taught that there are 51 states. So, but there are, of course, only 50. I'm aware now that is how it is. It's just not what I was taught. There you go. Sinbad never played Genie.
I swear to whatever fucking gods are out there that there was a Shazam movie where Sinbad played Genie. And the same kid from Kazam played the same kid in Shazam. I am convinced. Because I remember that the outfits were reversed.
Yeah.
If Shaq was wearing, I don't know, purple pants and a gold top, Shazam was wearing gold pants and purple top.
See, the thing is I recall there being a movie called Shazam. I saw it once. I don't recall it being Shaq, but I'm aware of a movie with Shaq in it. I don't necessarily know if I've seen it.
Kazam is Shaq.
But I don't necessarily recognize this guy, Sinbad, as the genie, because again, I saw the movie once, but I am aware of the existence of a movie called Shazam with the genie in it. So I couldn't tell you for sure that it was Sinbad, but I could tell you for sure that it wasn't Shaq. So
I remember watching both. I know that Sinbad played a fucking genie.
And how weird of a Mandela effect that everybody remembers a genie movie with Sinbad in it, of all people. Yeah. No, I agree that the movie Sinbad with the genie existed, and that there's a movie called Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal in it as well. What's the name of this bear, Ani?
Smokey the Bear.
It's just Smokey Bear. There's no the. It's just Smokey Bear. I don't agree with that statement. But according to this reality, it's Smokey Bear, not Smokey the Bear.
But the pitch to kids was always Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires.
I agree with you. But according to this reality, it is only Smokey Bear. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever that it's Smokey Bear and not Smokey the Bear. Okay, this one I have a distinct memory of too. In 1989, there was a protest in
Tiananmen Square.
in Tiananmen Square, and there was a video footage of a guy protesting by standing in front of a tank, and people remember him getting run over by the tank. But other people say that the video for this reality is him moving away and surviving. I recall him dying.
I don't recall seeing this video at all. So
I don't necessarily know if I saw the video because, again, it's from 1989. I don't recall if I saw it, but I am aware of learning of a protester who was run over by a tank. I recall learning that information, that he was run over by a tank. So it's a weird one. Like, it's a pretty weird one. But I do remember him learning that he was run over by a tank. Neil Armstrong's death. Oddly enough, people don't remember that he died or when he died. Like, he's dead. He's been dead for a while. He died in 2012, and people just don't remember him dying. I think this is less to do with the Mandela effect and more like people just didn't talk about it when he died. Like, maybe his family just didn't announce it to the world that he died.
I don't remember hearing about Neil Armstrong dying.
I don't remember him dying. But again, I think that had more to do with maybe his family just didn't announce it. You know, like it was just a personal family thing.
Guess space exploration wasn't that oh my god of a thing. So,
like, I feel like they would make a big deal nowadays, if, like when Buzz Aldrin passes, like that they'll make a big deal out of it. But like nobody mentioned Neil Armstrong when he died, so which is weird. Like, he definitely died, and if you'd asked me when, I would have assumed it was further back than 2012. But yeah, you know, I think it's a little strange. But again, I don't think that's a reality difference thing. I just think it's I definitely, if you'd asked me, is he alive or dead? I mean, he's definitely dead. He's been dead for a while. But I would have assumed like in the 90s or something like that, not in the 20,000 anything or 2000 anything. So that's a weird one, but I don't think that's a reality altering. This one is very odd to me, and I'm very curious what you think. The location of the Disney World castle. Some people believe that it was actually located at the entrance of the park here in Orlando. I went to Disney World when I was 9. You did not go through it for the entrance.
I don't know. Like, I've only been to Florida, like to Orlando these past 2 years.
And I've never heard of it being the entrance. Now, I will admit, when I went to it for the first time recently, I was surprised at how, like, I didn't recall when I was little having to get on the ferry to get to the park, or like the shuttle system. I didn't recall that. I asked my mom about it. She recalls getting on the boat to go there. But when you get to the park, the castle's set fairly far into the park. I remember being surprised about that as well, about how far you had to go before you actually got to the castle. I remember being surprised about that. I do not remember it being the entrance.
I can see people confusing the Magic Kingdom castle in Orlando with the one here in Anaheim, the original one, because I have seen pictures back when Disneyland first opened, where it's like, it's literally the parking lot, and you walk, like, it's just parking lot, castle. Like, it's right there. There's no, like, tram, there's nothing. You would park, and it'd be right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, they might confuse it with that, but again, I wasn't around in the 50s and 60s to know what the hell the opening of Disneyland looked like.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this one was really weird to me. I've never heard of it being the entrance. Like, that seems strange. Like, you would have the ticket stuff right in front of the castle, and then like maybe you'd have to like walk through to the bottom of the castle to get into the park. Like, no, it's I've never heard of it being that close. Like, it was weird to me how far into the park it was set the first time I went in like the 2000s, but like it wasn't that. It was not that close. So, but no, this one I do not believe. I'm with you. Like, they've built a lot onto the parks since they opened in both, California and Florida. So
yeah,
I can
like,
see why people would get confused, but
I can see if people were confused, call it, because they're both the Magic Kingdom.
mm-hmm.
In Anaheim, it's Disney's Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
but like it's Disneyland, the resort.
Yeah,
It's the Magic Kingdom. In Orlando, all the parks are different. Like, Magic Kingdom is the one with the castle. Animal Kingdom, this kingdom. So I can see if people were to get confused with the Anaheim one, thinking that when they hear Magic Kingdom, they're gonna think Orlando, when really it's both.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if you're thinking the entrance to Magic Kingdom is right there, in the 50s when it opened here in Anaheim, yes, it was.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I will admit, when I moved to Orlando, I have never heard anyone refer to the Magic Kingdom park here in Orlando as Magic Kingdom. It was always Disney World, the park. It always Disney World, the park, not Magic Kingdom, the park. Like, I understand that Disney World means all of the parks. I have never heard before I moved to Orlando somebody refer to like the parks as a collective that way. And it was just Disney World, the park, the same way it's Disneyland, the park. It's Disney World Park. So if you ever hear me say Disney World or I went to Disney World, I mean the Magic Kingdom Park. I will never mean all the parks.
Okay, because when I think Disney World, I think all the resorts.
Yeah. And
it's Disney World. It is all the resorts, all the hotels, it's everything.
Yeah.
Like, when I think Disneyland, I literally think of just Disneyland.
Yeah.
Well, we have the we have the Disneyland Resort area, which is everything. But when I say I'm going to Disneyland,
you mean the park?
I mean the park, because I will distinguish between I went to Disneyland or I went to DCA, California Adventure. I will say one or the other.
Yeah, and like for me here, if I say I went to Disney World, I mean the Magic Kingdom Park. And if I mean I went to Animal Kingdom or Epcot, I'm going to say
you went to Animal Kingdom
and Epcot. And I'm just like, but if I say Disney World, I mean I went to the Magic Kingdom Park. And coming here and moving here and finding out that it's not called Disney World, the park, was very confusing. And I'm like, what the fuck is Magic Kingdom? Because Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, why the fuck do they sound so similar? Like, it's the stupidest thing. Like, why couldn't you have called one of them something else? Why did you have to call two of them kingdoms? Like, it's so stupid. You could have called it like, I don't know, Animal Land or something else. But you didn't have to call Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. Like, that's weird to me. So distinguish better between the two of them with Disney World and Animal Kingdom. So, yeah, if you ever hear me say Disney World, I do mean just the singular park.
Just the one Magic Kingdom park.
Yeah, the same way you guys refer to Disney. To be fair, I grew up closer to Disneyland. So, like, Disneyland, Disney World, and then, like, there are other parks at Disney World besides Disney World. And it's just like, no, it was Disneyland and then Disney World. So, because I've been to Disneyland many times, and I'd only been to Disney World once before I moved to Orlando. So... But that is all of our Mandela effects. I think the running tally is that Ani and I are fucking definitely not from this universe. We had in common, 3 with this universe, and out of about 48 of them. So, we're not from this universe, I think is what the conclusion we can draw.
We're not from this universe, but are we from the same universe?
There was a couple of discrepancies, not a lot. There was one... Pikachu's tail. There was about 3 discrepancies, I think, between us. So, but we had a lot of them in common. So, Pikachu's tail is a really weird one. Again, because I do remember both, and I think that's really strange. So... We're definitely not from this universe, but whether or not we're from the same universe is a little...
I don't get it.
It's really strange. And the more you think about it, like the weirder it becomes. I definitely am on board with the idea that there's like multiple realities in the universe and we're just sliding through them. So
I mean, it would make it living in this reality slightly better.
Make more sense. Like, yeah, the universe we've slipped in sucks.
Can we please slide into a different one?
It's like, let's go to the next one. Thank you. Is there a button I can push? Just
right?
How many do I have to push before I end up in Prithian? Like, I'll push it. Like, I know a bunch of book girlies who will help me take turns pushing this stupid fucking button. If one of them ends up landing us in Prithian, maybe that's why, like, we feel so out of place. Like, in the
because we're not in our own reality.
Well, yeah, because, like, maybe we were just meant for a different one. And I think there's a lot of people who probably feel that way, like that this reality doesn't feel necessarily like home. And maybe it's because, maybe to get philosophical, our souls or whatever are from a different universe and then we've slipped through into this one instead, and it just doesn't feel right. So like maybe that's why so many people don't feel at home in this universe, is just because we're not from this one.
Yeah, we're not from here.
I would like to go back to my original universe, please. I don't even fucking care where it is at this moment, but it can't be worse than this. So I think if anything, we have learned that this reality doesn't make any fucking sense. This is not my reality. I would like to go to the next one, please. And yeah, you guys, if you followed along with us, and you can just hit us up on social media at the Sorry Not Sorry Generation on Instagram, and let us know.
Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah,
let us have a Twitter, but it became X, and I just don't feel like dealing with anything relating to Musk.
Yeah, I live in a reality where Twitter's now called X, and I don't appreciate it. But
it's owned by Elon Musk.
It's a weird universe. So, yeah, if you guys followed along with this, hit us up on Instagram at the Sorry Not Sorry Generation and tell us, what reality are you from? Are you from this reality?
Are you from a different reality?
Are you from a different one? Do you agree more with Ani or with me? Because, like, there's a couple of points that her and I disagreed on. So, which Pikachu do you remember?
Do you remember the double stuff Oreos or the double stuff Oreos? Do
you remember Fraught Loops or Fruit Loops?
Do y'all remember when Trix and Fruit Loops actually had flavors of fruits?
It's like, do you guys remember when cereal was good? Like, but yeah, hit us up on social media. Let us know if you're from your reality, like this reality, or you're from a different one. How many states did you grow up learning that there were?
That's the most embarrassing one. Really?
I again, as an adult, I'm aware that there are 50, but I just kind of assumed being taught that there were 51 states was just a failing of the American.
Like, where the hell did that number come from? Like, I put in the chat, like, I can't even say, like, public school systems. I went to a private school, then again, run all by Armenians, but still!
Again, I think it might have had to do with discussion that Puerto Rico might become a state, because I know there was discussion at some point of Puerto Rico becoming a state. But again, we were educated in two different states. Like, we were in two different grades all of the time. Like, you went to a private school, I went to a public school. Like, I recall learning that there were 51 states. It's weird. But then again, I also fucking recall life is like a box of chocolates, and Luke, I am your father. So don't really know what to do with that. So, but on that note, we will leave you guys to your existential crisis that this might have caused. If it has, I'm sorry, but we're all from different universes, so might as well embrace the weird. We will talk to you later, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Tune in next week for more fuckery, because we have some serious questions and concerns.